In this episode, we are discussing demons, not paranormal, but the ones in human form. Bullies! Let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome to our Bata podcast with me Manas and my fellow bullied host. Hello Nitya, how are you?
Hey guys, hey Manas, what's up?
All good. So this episode we are going to discuss how at different stages of our life, basically childhood, how we were bullied a lot. We're going to share our experiences and that's about it.
Yeah, guys, gonna talk about how we failed at tackling bullies. And hopefully, if you're getting bullied, you are not going to learn from our experiences because we don't have any advice to give you. But hopefully, you might learn from our mistakes so that you don't commit the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
So
Nitya, please share your experience.
Okay, so I'm going to keep it very short, but basically, I first time I faced bullying was I think in fifth grade, so I was like 10, and I'm not sure what was the exact trigger, but initially I was friends with this guy in my class, and he used to come in my bus. Like he lives he lives in the next colony, and in my mind I felt we were great friends, but so small things like, I would carry my school tiffin and I used to bring really yummy food because being part South Indian, dosa between 10 parathas and achars, everybody would like literally attack my food. So this guy...
Dude,
Yeah.
I am North Indian and I don't even used to have that. Like it's just so repelling. Sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
okay. So back to not talking about paratha achar, but yeah, my point was that so I would like always share my tiffin with everyone and everything. I was like this really amazing kid, and I would give my tiffin to everyone, and this guy was also one of them. But then after a point, I felt that I was coming back home hungry. So sharing doesn't mean that I don't get a single grain to eat from my own tiffin. So then, let me tell you guys, I think I've mentioned this earlier. My grandparents practically brought me up in my most impressionable years. So when I told my grandmother that, look, I'm coming back home hungry, so what do? She's like, oh, you have friends who like your food. You know what? I'm going to make separate tiffins for all of them. And I'm like, how is that a long-term solution? So anyway, long story short, this guy once came to me back saying, give me your food. And I was like, no. And that's where it all started. Face the consequences. He took my food and tossed it on the floor. And that was, yeah. So, guys, that was how well equipped I was to deal with bullying. I did not know how to respond to that because obviously I had never faced any bad experiences. In fact, I was an overly pampered child at home with my grandparents. So, yeah, I was very poorly equipped to deal with bullies. And it just kept building up. Fifth grade, sixth grade, we were in the same section. So, this guy started. Really troubling me a lot. So when I was in sixth grade, things got really ugly. He started a Facebook account, being an underage, with my name, where he posted a lot of abusive content and memes about me with his friends. And he created a Facebook group on the same with his friends. So I had no clue about this because obviously I wasn't on Facebook, being an underage. And a couple of people from the neighboring sections told me about it. And when I came back home telling my grandparents about it, of course, they had no clue what Facebook was. But luckily, my mama was there that day with his laptop. So he just checked on Facebook and he found an account which had really abusive content about me. And he actually took a photocopy of those hate comments and showed it to my dad. And in the subsequent parent teacher meeting, my parents actually showed a copy of those comments to my class teacher. My class teacher was shocked. She's like, I'm going to show this to the principal, and she was willing to take certain steps to actually get him expelled. But then my parents insisted that first his mother should see those comments because she should know what's going on in class. But Manas, you will not believe what this guy's mother said, which is exactly where it gets interesting and not surprising at the same time. Why a guy like why do people bully? So this mother steps into my class, and those comments are shown to her, and the first thing she asks the class teacher is nothing to do with the comments. She asks her, is my son doing well academically? And why? And this guy was a sports captain as well, so you can imagine. So the teacher was like, "Yeah, he's been getting good grades." She like, "That's all I care about." She tossed those sheets of paper with those offensive comments on the floor and walked out. So that was her response. She did not care at all. And my parents were shocked. And the principal actually had a look at those comments and she was willing to expel him right away. But my parents, being my parents, the most amazing parents that they are, they were like, we don't want to spoil this guy's future. So they actually decided to take back the complaint so that his future is not spoiled. Because somewhere down the line, they felt that if he's expelled, it's going to kind of be like a permanent scar in his mind that I'm the reason that he's had to leave school, and he might just kind of take really really bigger steps to kind of destroy me. So I guess that's why they just thought it's smarter. And guess what, guys, he's not the one who got expelled, but I'm the one who left school. So I changed school. And yeah, and then after that, I guess, so yeah, so the major bullying kind of ended in my previous school. But in the next school, new set of challenges started. I had this teacher. She taught me English. She was, to be very honest, she was an excellent and incredible English teacher. I think one of the best English teachers I've had. But she was superly unprofessional, like as unprofessional as they get. So she also headed the school magazine, and she wanted me to be a part of it, and I was thoroughly delighted. I was handling photography, not the writing bit. And I, in my mind, I thought, like, she really liked me and everything. And the new school that I was shifted to is a school my mom studied in. So my mom felt that it's going to be, and mind you guys, I was shifted from a co-ed to an all-girls convent school, which was also another huge major shift for me. Also, to be noted that gossips are always more an all-girls convent. So things always reach quicker than you think in an all-girls convent. So basically, what happened was that my mom used to come to my school once a week as a counselor for students, and many students would go with their problems to my mom. And a lot of teachers got insecure initially. They felt that that students are going and complaining about them to my mom, and they felt that the only way to kind of sort that issue out is by threatening me in class. So have had some unpleasant experience, even though the students were actually talking about their personal issues at home with their moms and their dads. But yeah, back to this English teacher. So she also used to go and talk to my mom about her issues and everything. And somehow there was some personal anecdotes about her life she shared, which were completely, I think, spilled in school, and it became like the gossip of the town. And she assumed that I must have spread it because she'd shared those innate details about her life with my mom. And things got really ugly from there. In fact, the most humiliating experience I remember was once when I was in my school bus, and two of my juniors, like they were like 2 years younger to me, two of my juniors came to me saying, "Didi, aapko pata hai, ma'am," like the English teacher, she was like, कि, "Ma'am कह रही थी कि they actually made us vote what punishment we should give you for your actions." So, can you believe how unprofessional somebody is that she actually made those students take a vote as to what punishment they should collectively give me? But luckily there were many other students who had had many unprofessional and unpleasant experiences with this teacher. So she was asked to leave by the faculty. So I was very relieved, and happy that she left. But yeah, but I don't have any pleasant memories. In fact, I have very very bittersweet memories when it comes to school. More so bitter than sweet memories when I think about school days. So yeah, when people ask me about how nostalgic school days would have been and you want to go back to those days and relive them again, not relatable at all.
I think I share the same thing when people talk about, reliving the school memories. When it comes to, people saying, "Oh, I would love to go back to my school or childhood days." I would love to do the same
Yeah,
thing, but I would absolutely remove the school part because I hated going to school. I hate it. I absolutely hate
exactly.
it. See, you know how it changed for you. You went to convent school, and the same thing happened to me in Chandigarh and in Panchkula area. What happened? Convent schools are big hype. It's supposed to be, good kids go there. It's a whole different thing. Everyone wants to be in convent school, model schools, but when I came here,
Hmm.
it was a totally different scene. Like convent had nothing. It was just in the name, and that's about it. Kids were totally, like, I would say my public school before that was much more sensible than the school here. It was totally culture shock for me when I came here. Aside from people having the growth spurt.
Yeah, in your case, I think because you came from a different city
Absolutely.
altogether.
And when I came here, it was a
So,
totally different ball game because I never heard students. I'll be very honest, abuse. Okay,
yeah.
and here I thought convent. It's a convent school, so of course it's going to be great. But exact opposite happened. My grades dropped at they dropped like, dude, it was really bad. Anyway,
Likewise.
I was bullied left, right, and center for no reason at all. I was the smallest kid there. Like literally, I was really small, like in height wise and in weight and everything. And I didn't even mature, like mentally, to fight them. I didn't know like how to fight them in any way.
Hmm.
But good thing in both our cases was like I told everything to my mom and my dad. Like my family knew everything. So because
Yeah,
of that,
same here. That's the thing. I think I'm very grateful. I think both of us should be grateful. There's a lot of gratitude in my heart that I've had parents and I've had a support system in my entire family, that I had, the freedom to share literally every nitty gritty detail about my life. And I was never afraid of telling them, and they were super supportive. And that's the only reason why I could survive school. Otherwise, literally, there was no way I could survive school.
exactly. See, even before coming to
Yeah.
Gurgaon, when I was in Panchkula, I was really young. I have an elder sister, right? Two elder sisters, and my the second one who's the middle child. Like if anyone would say
Yeah.
anything to me, they would threaten me or they would yell at me. My sister would not fight them. So I was like fine that way. But the moment I came here to Gurgaon, I had like nothing. My siblings were doing their own thing. They had their own life and all,
Hmm.
and I was here alone. But I still used to tell my parents everything. But I suffered a lot in this school. I literally suffered because I got physically bullied. I got mentally bullied,
Oh my
and
God. Like when you talk about physically bullied, are you saying that you were actually kind of physically abused?
yes. So for instance, there was this guy who was like 6 foot something, and I was about 5 foot. I'll be very honest. Like I was so small.
Which class was this?
Eighth class. I was in eighth class,
Okay.
and he was like 6 foot or something, and he was really stupid person. I don't know. I don't want to comment on it. And in front of sister, as in it was a convent school, so all of
Yeah,
us
yeah,
they
yeah.
were all nuns, and
Mm-hmm.
so he literally like he hit me on my head. He pushed me down the stairs, and I fell in front of everyone.
Oh my God.
And luckily, sister saw that, and he was almost suspended. And he did that multiple times, and he was not even in my section. I didn't even know his name. So even to tell sister, oh,
That's
who's
so
this person?
bizarre. Then why was he so violent with you?
For no reason at all. It wasn't just like one person who did that. Multiple kids who did this. And I would just like I would it would be my mission to just rush back the moment bell rings. I
Yeah.
wanted to just like run for my van or bus or whatever it was. I just wanted to like escape that school, because like you were like making queue, getting out in your line, and
Hmm.
the moment you reach gate, somebody would hit me from the back, no reason at all.
Gosh, that's
and
crazy.
and there were other factors which were obvious to me. For instance, I was friends with Megha and Kritika, who are my currently best friends, right? And guys used to find them attractive and all that, and they would give her chocolates and she would share it in front of them, with me. And those guys would take it as a, I don't know, maybe like as if we were teasing them or something, and they would take out their frustration on me. And I remember I
Hmm.
remember like when I was leaving, like we like after 10th class, I was writing down something in my friend's scrapbook, and I was reading other people's responses, and people had written, we were such good and close friends, and then they then came Manas in our life, and he ruined everything.
Oh, so you were like the kebab mein haddi for them.
He took you
Gosh.
from us.
Yeah. Gosh, those politics happen in literally every class. Like, that is such a classic example of groupism. I mean, it's
And I
crazy.
wanted to be friends with those guys. Can you imagine? I wanted to be their friend for so. I remember there was this girl, Sarah, who like she came from South Africa,
Hmm.
Tanzania, and I remember it got so bad. She stood up for me. She was like, "Who's gonna hit you? I'm gonna save you." And some guy would like come to hit me or something, and she would like my friends like somehow saved me. And then I shifted schools in 11th and 12th. I went to different school, which is near your house.
I know, literally, man. I mean, if I'd have known you've shifted to a school which is literally 4 kilometers away from my house, but of course, we didn't know each other that
Yeah,
time. We
and
only
in this
met in
school, it's a
2016. So
different culture now. Like cultures keep shifting.
I gave my boards in your school, by the way. So I remember I've been to
That's
that
great.
school like a couple of
So
times.
see, schools were never been the fault. It was the kids. They were the demons.
I would say that it's not even the kids. I think it's the parents and the teachers, because a child is never born a criminal or is never born a bully. I think we are only influenced by our most immediate families and the people, because why are they called impressionable years? Impressionable years because we actually carry the imprints of people with whom we spend time with, right? That's why your company and the people you spend time with are so important, because that actually sums up the person that you are.
Exactly. I remember when I again shifted my school, 11th and 12th one, I again started getting targeted for no reason at all. And then, another girl joined the school, and she was from Mount Carmel. People found her attractive, different guys from different sections. And she would be, of course, she would not find anyone comfortable because she knew they're all
Yeah, yeah.
because she knew everyone was and she was like, we'd stick together, we'd go to library and all that. And I started getting targeted. I started getting stalked by guys, really huge guys. And
They were basically envious that she used to
yeah,
hang
and they were
out
like,
with you.
how are you friends with her? It's such a funny question, like, how are you friends with her? Like, I don't know, because I talked to her and she talked back. And they're
Yeah,
like, he
basically
asked her for
that.
number. And the funny thing was, I didn't have cell phone back then. So like, मैं कहाँ से लूँ? Like, myself don't have phone. So like, why would I ask her for number? नहीं तू मांग और तू मुझे दे. And collectively 4 or 5 guys. Imagine like I was not tall enough that time, and even not now. And they were like 6'4", 6 foot, 6'4", and
Oh
huge.
my
Like not
god.
just like tall. They were like horizontally also.
You've basically been haunted by giants throughout your
Absolutely,
school
and
life.
they started harassing me. It got so bad, like I would not go to school. Like no matter what happens, I would not go to school.
Yeah. Have you ever faked? I mean, I'm sure you have, but have you? I
I
must
didn't
ask
had to
you,
fake.
have you faked an illness a
I
million
just told my
times?
dad I don't want to go to school and I'll study at home. I remember I would go to my tuition.
Yeah.
Like my tuition teacher was really nice. I would go to her house at 6:30 a.m. rather than going to school. I would go and study there. I'll study
School.
extra. I remember my classroom teacher called my dad during my summer vacation. She was like, "We are holding extra classes for all the students because they're science batch, so we want to give them extra and all that. We want to keep them ahead of the syllabus." And my dad was like, "No, no, he's studying just fine. Does it at home, and he has tuition, so don't worry about it." And she took my test and all, and I passed, of course. But I remember, like, I would do anything just not to go there. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I can completely kind of associate with that. I remember that my grades started dipping big time, like instantly. It was so obvious, and I would literally come back crying maybe every alternate day, if not every day, when I was in sixth grade with this guy. Once, in fact, I remember distinctly another distinct experience which kind of scarred my life. Once, like I got locked in the girls' washroom, so this guy kind of locked me from outside.
The
Um,
same guy who was harassing you on Facebook.
yes, the same guy. And I remember that luckily there was this half partially opened window in the washroom, and there were like a few guys who were playing downstairs. And I literally screamed, and then they came and opened from outside. But my regret, I mean, I won't say regret, but the only thing that I felt bad about was that when I was about to leave my previous school and join my new school, so there was like 1 month remaining before I shifted schools, and that 1 month was crazy because that is the only month where suddenly two or three friends of this guy who used to harass me, they stood up for me and actually went up to the class teacher and complained about how much this guy harasses me. And even in the school bus, so this guy's elder sister was a doll. She used to keep yelling at him whenever he used to kind of trouble me, but of course he didn't care. And there were these seniors, all the 12th graders, who suddenly started coming and supporting me big time. And they kind of even told me that if he like dares touch you, just come out, just reach out to us, don't even think twice, don't hesitate. And they used to actually sometimes even give me treats because they would see me crying and everything. So the last month before I left, like suddenly everybody started supporting me and understanding me, so that was weird. Yeah, and then of course I shifted schools. But yeah, I mean, I did not even go for any of the overnight school trips organized because I was so terrified. Stopped getting invited to any of the birthdays because people felt embarrassed
Oh my God, Nitya,
inviting.
I just remember one thing.
Yeah.
Talking about school trips, I went to a school trip, like in both the schools. I'll talk about the 11th and 12th one.
Yeah.
I went to ISKCON temple, it was safe. I thought it'll be
That was
fine.
like a school organized trip.
Yes, and what happened was, I
Okay.
remember there were like small moments like in which they would shut off lights, and so because they were
Hmm.
changing slides, there was some sort of show going on, and I remember
Hmm.
again getting targeted by huge who would who
Oh
would
my
hit
god.
me on my head, you know on top of it. It would hurt so bad, and they would do it like
And again, these guys hit you without any reason.
no reason at all.
Or are these the same guys who targeted you because you were friends with
No,
that
no.
girl?
Then I became a normal target. Like anytime, like there would be chance they can have with the target. I remember like it got like I hate.
You just seemed like an inferior guy that just looked
I'll
like
tell
you
you
can be
what,
bullied.
in school bus, like in what I used to do, seniors would sit at the back. I am a 12th grader.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sit in the back. I would be like, you know what, I want to avoid every like. Eventually, I became friends with them. They were still bullies, like
Hmm.
एक दो बच्चों को छोड़ के, but I still became friends with them. Try to talk to them. I try to make connection. Maybe they are just having fun. They don't realize that I am the one who's sentiments, or I'm the one getting traumatized. It's okay, I understand. कईयों को नहीं पता था मोटा भेजा होता है. It's
Yeah.
totally fine.
But did you have any close friends in school who supported you throughout this, or you were just dealing with it all alone?
The girl I was telling you about, who they were attracted to, she saw that people are and
Yeah.
she did not want it to be part of that school. She was like, you know what, Manas, I am leaving the school.
Hmm.
I'll rather change my stream to arts, but I cannot stay in this school another day. She stopped coming. She left before our midterms,
Oh my
and
god.
she called me. She's like, sorry Manas, but I had to leave. And I'll suggest you the same. It doesn't matter what stream you're in. If you're going to do good in life, you're going to do good in any stream. Just leave that school. It's toxic. And the moment she left, I I stopped coming to school as well. It was bad. Like I didn't like it. And you know what happens? I
Yeah.
remember before coming to 8 Gurgaon, whenever I used to get nervous or anything, I would start sweat. How your ears get red. It used to happen. When I got into 8th class, whenever things used to happen, hands started sweating,
So did your
and
did, did your hyperhidrosis get triggered in school?
it didn't trigger in school. I would say because none of my family members has it, anyone. And it literally started, I remember exactly. I was panicking whether I should go to school or not. And I used to sweat all the time. And now I sweat, like it just started after that. When I'm happy, like it happens throughout the year. But when I'm happy, it doesn't happen. Like it's still in some
Hmm.
control. But
Because
I
I think
remember.
different hormones are released in your body when you're happy, so that doesn't make you sweat.
But all I'm saying is that people don't realize when they're young, or they're bullying, or they're just having fun. Maybe they're like, oh my god, he's such a boring person, whatever, we are just having fun and all that. You are just
Yeah.
you are hurting someone.
People don't know where to draw the line. That's the
It's not
main
about
thing.
drawing the line. Have fun with people who seem like they're enjoying it.
See, the thing is, when does fun turn into mockery, and then when does mockery turn into bullying? It is a very fine line.
I'll be very honest. I don't want to analyze those people, how they became what, and what factor was in their life.
Yeah.
I just don't want to. I have. Tell me one thing.
I don't want to hold any grudges, honestly, against this guy or even the teacher, anybody else for that matter.
Tell me one thing. Did you develop any sort of defense mechanism?
Well, so okay, I have to admit that I was not equipped to deal with them when I was dealing with like when I was in the crux of the situation. I was a complete mess. In fact, I didn't even have too many close friends outside school who I could reach out to. Like there were some friends in my colony, but it's not that. But they were like just friends I used to play with. They were not people I could share these intimate details with and everything. So yeah, I didn't even have that kind of support system. Like my family was like my main pillar of strength and support. So that was the only thing. Plus, when you're like 10 or 11, you won't even know what are the defense mechanisms to use. You just literally, somebody hits you, somebody yells at you, somebody abuses you. You just run to your mom or you run to your dad, right? That's what you do. But yeah, I never. I think one thing I should have done earlier is I never reached out to any of my teachers, because I felt very embarrassed telling them, or I would just feel complete. I would feel like a chicken that, oh, I'm kind of telling teachers and I'm getting bullied, and that's so embarrassing.
You
So
know
I
what's
never.
funny, Nitya, you know
Yeah.
what's funny? That's one point I would say I had a positive point. I never hesitated. I knew if someone's bullying me or bothering me, no matter what happens, I will complain it to the teachers.
I always
If
hesitated.
teachers
I
won't,
never told.
if teachers won't listen, I'll go to the principal. I'll go to at the highest authority that I can reach. But I will tell them that you know
No,
what,
I
this is
was I
I'm
was
suffering.
suffering in silence. I was suffering in silence in school. Only my parents knew how much I was going through, and that's what finally led them to change my school, because I would never go to a class teacher or even dare go to the principal to share my issue. I would never do that. So that is one different way of tackling. So guys, you can decide whose defense mechanism you want to follow. Yeah.
I developed picking on people's insecurity and fighting back, not physically, not physically.
Oh, okay. So you started playing dirty, huh? Big
No,
time.
not dirty, but I saw people's insecurity in a heartbeat, and I would start making it in I would say it in a fun tone. At the same time, I would make the other person know that I know your insecurity. Don't try to mess with me.
What was with that laugh?
Evil laugh. I'm trying to do that impression. So try to fight me, and I will pick on you in different ways, and it'll be psychological.
I don't know if you ever felt this when I used to watch Mean Girls, or when I would watch, films on cyberbullying. Like it would evoke experiences of a different level, which most people would not even feel.
I'd start making fun of people. Even when I was in 11th and 12th, I would, fight back. I would say meanest shit to people on their face. But during this whole thing, I became the person that I'm today because of bullying and all that. I developed a defense mechanism.
Yeah, basically, guys, Manas became a bully.
I did, you know what? I
He's got the mother-in-law syndrome.
shut up. Uh, I talked to Kritika and Megha the other day. We were discussing, and like I got to know. And see, I didn't realize back then that I was bullying. But what happened was I was so angry that time. Of course, I cannot fight 6 foot people or anyone because I was
Yeah.
really weak back then. I'm not a stupid person who acts in rage. Oh my God, that person said,
Please clarify.
like how Chihuahua thinks that a Great Dane or Rottweiler is nothing, and he keeps barking. I have I have a brain, so I don't fight back that way. I started picking on people's insecurity, and I started using them as in a funny way, and then they would feel insecure. And of course, it's not a good thing, but I got so bad with it. Now I'm working on it, of course, and now I don't do that.
So, so,
But
so you basically played smart, and you kind of became slightly street smart about life. Guys, I did something superly stupid and hilarious. So I used to watch a lot of chick flicks those days as well. And of course, we used to have the Hannah Montanas and the That's So Ravens. I used to actually write comebacks from those episodes in my notebook. Can you believe it?
oh
I
God,
used to write those comebacks in my notebook, saying that if this guy says this to me, I'm going to give him this comeback. And of course, when he would tremble me, into the fearful person that I was those days, I would not remember a single word, and I would completely grammatically mess it up.
oh
It
my
was
God.
it was it was so funny now that I think about it. But yeah, those days I never have those words when I need them.
Like I sometimes wonder, Nitya, like what happens at their homes, how their parents treat them, how they're raised. Because I never had those ideas, I never wanted to bully anyone, until I started.
You know what exactly? You know what is the first thought that came to me when I was bullied for the first time in fifth grade? My first ever thought was that, why would somebody ever want to hurt you deliberately? Like, these are the thoughts I actually had as a 10-year-old person. I'm like, why will somebody want to intentionally ever hurt someone? That is something I could never understand those days. I'm like, ये जबरदस्ती जान पूछ के मुझसे ऐसे बात कर रहा है.
Oh God,
And that is a part which hurt me, because I realized that, oh, okay, because that's something I had never experienced in my
I know.
household. So it all goes back to what you have seen
I'm
growing
just
up.
feeling sorry for their kids. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen to them. They are going to be raised.
Oh,
God bless them.
by the way, special piece of information, guys. This so-called bully that I'm talking about, the special guy of my podcast. Yeah, Karma, definitely. He is working for a child rights organization currently.
See, it's a funny thing, but
Beat
I won't
that.
say I won't say it's a karma. Karma would be if he would be
Yeah,
getting bullied and he would be,
uncle is working for Cry when he made me cry many times in my life.
anyway, guys, I think we have shared enough experience, enough tears.
Yeah,
उसका
the tears have dried up now.
अब इसका caramel custard बना के पी लो, guys.
I'm going to share a very emotional quote that I read about bullying, that when you have cried enough that your bones are soft enough to break, that's when you become invincible.
My God, too deep, man.
Too deep. Yes.
That's enough for our childhood trauma. Uh,
Yes.
that was, caused by the demons, spawn of Satans. Bullying, when it happens, when you become adult, is a whole different thing. And we are going to tell that when we are going to become adults and face that shit in real life.
Yeah, basically they turn into jerks. Like that's what happens as adults. So guys, enough with the venting for today. If you want to reach out to us, just slide in some DMs on our Orbata podcast at Instagram, or you can just reach out to us at the Orbata podcast at gmail.com and send us feedback about our episodes. We would love to hear back from you, or just we can over and analyze or ruin any topic for you, or if you have any issues or problems you want to share with us, feel free to reach out to us, and we're going to come back with another episode soon.
Until next time.
Bye.
See ya.